Hi everyone, my name is Regean Mugume. I work with the Economic Policy Research Center based in Uganda. My proposal looks at how young think tankers in the Global South can collaborate in working groups along the policy cycle to achieve sustainable and tangible impact. Now, why working groups? Because working groups enable youth think tankers to work together based on their niches. And why the policy cycle? Because it helps them to achieve a long-term impact all the way from problem identification to policy monitoring and evaluation. So basically, the proposal looks at 4 working groups that work along the policy cycle. These working groups constitute youth think tankers, and these are the research, evidence, and advisory working group that basically generates knowledge and evidence to influence policy. We have the political and advocacy working group to advocate for a policy change. We have the training and capacity building that trains youth think tankers as well as youth in the public for policy buy-in. And lastly, the communications and outreach working group that basically sends out messages on TVs, on the social media. We have bloggers in this working group. So all these work together, partner with policy makers. It can be at national or even at local government level. And this is meant to drive a policy reform. It can be youth employment or a youth-related kind of intervention. It can be a tax policy in the country. The first activity would be having a stakeholder mapping, looking at all these working groups and their youth think tankers therein, and then would be able to know who leads what stage of the policy change. First, the model can easily be replicated to suit the conditions of any country in the Global South. And more to that, it can be modified to address any policy issue, be it youth and employment, tax policy, gender-based fairness, name it. And secondly, because this model leverages the specialities of young think tankers, then it is able to foster a 360 policy impact all the way from problem identification and problem analysis to policy adoption, implementation, and consequently monitoring and evaluation. And lastly, because the model proposes the exchange of ideas between the Global North and the Global South, young think tankers, but also the capacity building component, then it's able to address capacity gaps among youth think tankers in the Global South. So it's very critical.